What's up, backpackers? Today we're talking the best backpacking quilt that your money can buy. Stick around. Welcome back, backpackers. Today we're going to be talking about the best sleeping quilt that your money can buy. Before we dive into my opinion on what is the best one, we got to understand a couple things. First, the concept of down. Down creates loft. Loft equals air. The air in between is what keeps us warm from our body heat. Our body heat heats up the air in the sleeping bag. The air is created by the space between the feathers. So when you have down, like in a sleeping bag that's against your back, and you're compressing that as you sleep, that means that you're not going to be getting the full insulation value of what could be offered. Why this is important is because this is a little bit of an ideology behind why quilts are such a great idea. Because if you're going to be compressing that and it's going to be adding weight, why have it at all if it's not going to be functioning? Because if you're squashing that down, how's there going to be air to keep you warm? So what quilt designers have done is they've cut out the back, which is a great segue into the three main differences between backpacking quilts and bags. I'm going to keep this short and sweet. Number one difference between sleeping bags, sleeping quilts, weight. Without a hood and without a back, they weigh less. Number two, money savings. Because of the lack of fabric in the hood and in the back, they're able to cut off a lot of material that they're using. Because it's less material, it costs less for them to make it, which in turn is less money for you to pay. Number three, they are customizable. There are so many options for you out there to customize your quilt to the exact specifications that you want and that you need. Now, after crazy amounts of research and crazy amounts of searching websites and customizing different quilts and figuring out what I want, I decided on one. And the one that I decided on is the UGQ Outdoors Bandit Top Quilt. This quilt has blown my mind. Now let's get into some of my personal specs for my bag so that you can understand a little bit more of some of the options for customization that are out there. This bag, I decided to go with a 20-degree rating. The reason that I chose this is because for the climate that I'm in, this is what fits me. And you have to figure out what fits you. I live in Utah where it gets freezing cold in the winter and scorching hot during the summer. And so I needed a good middle ground that I'm not going to be sweating my butt in the summer, but I'm also not going to be freezing my butt off in the winter. So the 20-degree bag was a good middle ground for me. Now, the size. Typically, it comes in about a 72 by a 50 wide. I chose to go with a little bit wider and keep it regular length. I'm 6'1" and the 72-inch covers me perfectly. I chose to add 5 extra inches to the side in order to just give me some extra coverage down the side of my pad. Another feature that you get to choose when you're customizing a bag is if you want overstuff. Overstuff is going to add a little bit of extra warmth to your sleeping bag or sleeping quilt. I chose to just get an ounce of overstuffing, and I have 850 fill power in my bag. Another really cool feature on a lot of companies that are doing this more now, but on UGQ's specifically, it has what they call a draft collar. This draft collar is what is going to be right around your neck in order to block any draft, block any draft or any wind or anything from getting down in there and getting you chilled or getting you cold in your bag. Now, another option that you can choose is whether you want it to taper or not. Tapering just means that it's going to start here and it's going to end here, sort of like a mummy bag. Now, what I chose to do was go with no taper, and I just have a rectangle. Mine is basically a blanket that has a foot box that you can zip it on. As you can see, there's a zipper here for the foot box. It can be unzipped in order to make it into a flat quilt. And also there's a bottom that if you like to keep it open, you can stick your feet out. If not, you can tighten it up in order to close it off, and it's just like a sleeping bag at the bottom. Now let's get to the weight of my bag. With all the customizations, let's do a quick summary. I got extra width, an ounce of overstuff, I didn't taper it, and I put a draft collar. With all of those features, my bag came in at 25 ounces. This was amazing for me. I went from about like a 3.5, 4 pound bag to 25 ounces. That is ridiculous. At like about 1.5 pounds, you can't beat that for the features, the temperature rating, and getting it overstuffed and wider and it's just amazing. Now let's talk about price. UGQ has really honed in their skills at creating high quality bags at a budget friendly price. UGQ allows you to change different settings and different features on your bag in order to fit your budget and your needs. Now, with my quilt, I went a little bit crazy with the features because I love this bag, and this is a bag I know that I'm gonna have forever. But if you're looking to get into a budget bag, they do have options for that. Their price ranges from about $215 upwards of $300 to $350. This depends on the fill power, if you're tapering it, if you're adding things like a draft collar, if you're adding a dynamic tension control, which basically is the system that they've created that you can pull and it cinches the bag around you, which is really cool. So anyway, UGQ has done a great job at that.
All right, guys, well, that's it. The UGQ Bandit Top Quilt is my #1 choice for a backpacking quilt. If you have found any value in this video, please smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you on the next one.